Northern Marina Islands. The main commercial banks in the country Guam are Bank Pacific, Bank of Hawaii, Bank of Guam, and First Hawaiian Bank. Now, the purpose for sharing top banks in every country presentation, export-import trade data every week is for our sales team members to connect with at least one bank in each country for advising, relaying our trade instruments. Now, also, First Commercial Bank is also a commercial bank in the country Guam. Guam list of top companies. Now, the top companies we have bifurcated based on the industries, revenue, etc. Top companies in country Guam by revenue, if we see, it is Nissan Motor Corporation, Bank of Guam, Ambrose Inc., and Cars Plus LLC. Key industries in country Guam. When we come to retail side, it's Car Plus LLC. It's a prominent retailer. Coming to the manufacturing and construction side, Go Solar Guam and Pepsi Cola Bottling Company are from manufacturing and construction, etc. Other notable companies in country Guam include Coal Tech International Corp, Mobile Oil Guam Inc., Federated States of Micronesia Petroleum, Guam Marine Services, Monster Auto Corp. These are the other notable companies in country Guam. This is the second slide with list of top companies in country Guam. Here we have shared the web link that has the details of top 65 manufacturing companies in country Guam. To list, when we click on this web link shared here, it has the listing and complete details like sales revenue, location, what the company is manufacturing into. Every detail is available in the web link. To list down a few like Pacific Unlimited, MS Builders, Guam Industrial Services, Seafood Masters, RK Incorporation. This we have listed down a few in the slide, but this given web link has the details of all the 65 manufacturing companies in country Guam. Now, as we do for every week country presentation, we are sharing the list of exporters, importers, and contractors in the country Guam. Here we are sharing the web links that has the complete information about the exporters, importers, and the contractors. Now this slide has the web links for the exporters and the importers. First web link has details about the import-export companies, traders database, exporters, importers database in country Guam. Second web link has shipment information that has the shipments happening in and out of the country Guam. When we click on this web link, it has the details about the products being exported, imported, shipments in and out in the country Guam. The further web links has details about the Guam imports. There is database 900 plus database is there. Guam exporters 200 plus database is available in this web link. Then again Guam importers 300 plus database is available in the web links. The next web link has details about the genuine importers, buyers in the country Guam. This web link has 70 plus importers database. The next web link has details about the Guam suppliers, exporters. This web link has 80 plus exporters list information in this web link. The next web link has details about the import side of the country Guam with 500 plus import shipments happening in the country, inward shipments information along with the products, the HSN code, everything is available in this web link. This has a complete import shipments happening in the country Guam, 500 plus databases available. This is the second slide in continuation of the first one. Exporters, importers, details, information. Now this web link has 500 plus export shipments information in the country Guam. That is the exports commodities being exported, their HSN code, and to which country it has been exported. All information is available in this web link. The next web link has details about the importers, buyers, 26,000 plus importers information details database is available in the given web link. Then we have Guam trade data web link. Then again importers, suppliers, shipments information for the country Guam is available in the given web link. The next web link again has details about the importers and the buyers for the country Guam. This is the third slide. Now, this slide has details about the Guam latest public tenders floated, contracts, awards floated in the country. Now, this pertains to the clients who are into contracting business. Now, the clients who are in contracting business, basically into various construction, then procurement, etc. Now, these clients who are in contracting business, they will require all type of bank guarantees like tender bank guarantee, bid bond bank guarantee, advance payment bank guarantee, retention bank guarantee, and this is the web links for all the clients who are into contracting business. Now, the first web link has details about the Guam tenders, e-procurement, e-tender, online auctions floated in the country for the current year. Second web link has details about the latest tenders, government and private tenders floated in the country Guam for the current year. Third web link has details about the 19 live contracts in the country Guam for the current year. Next web link pertains to the procurement, materials management, biddings, awards floated in the country for the current year for the country Guam. Next web link again has details about the current government tenders and public procurement tenders floated in the country. The next web link has details about the various biddings, United States government e-tenders, e-procurement information for the country Guam. The next two web links has details about the government tenders, 1,000 plus live public procurement contracts floated in the country Guam for the current year. These all web links being shared in the last three slides pertains to the listings details provided for the current year. Trade data list of countries covered till date. We have covered 187 countries export-import trade data, including country Guam. This is the list of all the 187 countries export-import trade data covered till date. This is the OneDrive link that has all our training, presentation as well as recordings. When we click on this OneDrive link, it has three folders. Each folder has subfolders, presentation and recordings. Tuesday folder will have all the onboarding training session conducted for all the new sales team members on every Tuesday. Wednesday folder will have all the presentation and recordings conducted for the Euro EXIM Bank products training session conducted in-house every Wednesday. Saturday folder will have all the presentation and recordings for the global market updates and sales training session conducted every Saturday by the external trainers to sharpen the sales skill for our sales team members. So when we click on this OneDrive link, it has the presentation and recordings for all our training sessions. If any of our sales team members is unable to attend any training session, they can save this OneDrive link. They can go to the respective training presentation and recordings. Thank you. Any questions on Guam export import trade data, please?
Thank you very much, Ish, for that presentation on import-export data for the country Guam. And I'm sure the reason, like what Parameshwaran has said earlier, the reason that we do week on week different countries is, one, we have a presence of salespeople in those countries. And number two, it is us as salespeople can go into those websites, whatever is being shared, look into an email, send an official EXIM Bank email ID selling the products of EXIM Bank. You never know, when you knock on the doors will be open. Right. I'm going to take a few questions. I'm being very, very specific. I'm going to take questions only on import-export data for Guam. So if there are anybody who has any questions for the presentation, which was just finished by my colleague Parameshwaran, click on the raise your hand icon. Some of the questions we will avoid is, will this presentation be shared? I live in a different country. Can I access Guam? So let's avoid all those questions. But if there are any real questions on the presentation which was just done, if you would click on the raise your hand icon, we will take question answers for import export data for the country Guam. Anybody has any questions? Right. There are no questions for Ish on. Okay. Nicholas, if you could unmute your mic. Nicholas. Nicholas, unmute your mic and ask your question. We are not able to hear you, Nicholas. Suwasri Mukherjee. Suwasri Mukherjee.
Yes, my question is, in the slide, we have seen several websites like volza.com as well as a few others. So, like, which is the best website if I have to like get into the names of
You have
importers
to,
and
that is the reason we provided for all of you to go into the website. We don't do it is up to us to go into each and every website and find an email ID and write to those people. Nicholas. Right. Thanks, Ish. Thank you very much. There are no further questions. Tariku Bedada. Tariku Bedada. If you have a question, could you please unmute your mic and ask your question, please, for import-export data for the country Guam. Jane Alam. Jane Alam. I'm taking questions for the presentation which was just done by my colleague Parameshwaran on import-export data for the country Guam. Yeah, you need to unmute your mic. When I call your names, please unmute your mic and ask your questions, please. Tariku Bedada, Jane Alam. Right, fine. They're not able to ask the questions. Thanks, Ish. What is coming next week, Ish? Any idea which country?
Yeah, next week we will be sharing export-import trade data for the country Kiribati. That is an island country in Oceania.
All right. Right. We will move on to the next presentation for this afternoon for the day. We have Hari Krishnan sir. Hari Krishnan is sitting here in the third party service providers office here in Chennai. He's a retired banker from Reserve Bank of India, and he's going to talk to us about facilitation of the IPO. As all of you know, there are products like we facilitate IPO, and the other product that we facilitate is bond funding. So without any further delay, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Hari Krishnan. The same thing, after he finishes the training, then we will have a Q&A session. Hari sir, over to you for facilitation on IPO.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Welcome to the IPO presentation. We have been making this presentation repeatedly, and we are very glad that people have started understanding the product very well, and some few good proposals have been sent to us, and thanks to those people who are really interested in approaching the clients. So this presentation again talks about all the IPO processes and what actually the sales teams are expected to do, and how to approach the client and bring the proposal, and what is the kind of funding we are facilitating. So one thing you understand that this is the product of facilitation. We are facilitating between the client company and the various institution which we are going to tie up for launching the IPO. So someone requested me that my presentation should be very slow in talk so that they can understand better. I will make my talk a little slower. So what is that IPO? Means that initial public offer of the equity share capital of the company to a very wider group of people, investors who will make their investment in the company. So what does it mean that so far the company is closely held with a few promoters capital, and it is a closely held company. Now the company wants to enhance their equity capital multifold, and also to bring more variety of investors from the market. So that is the process that. So equity capital investment is made broad based with more category of investors into the company. Already that promoter capital is there, employees capital, various other institution will make investment in the equity. Foreign investment is also allowed in certain countries, and resident who are individual investors can also make their investment into the company through the process of IPO. So it is the offer of equity, that is the owner's capital to wider group of investors. What actually it facilitates the company by going to the public and collect a huge subscription of equity, and through the rigorous process. That is the first time I am telling that is a process oriented IPO launching. So larger equity base facilitate one thing, that the company is going to get a huge fund, which is equity fund, not like debt or borrowing, which are going to be repaid, but it is going to be the owner's capital, and there is no question of immediate any repayment. So larger base means your equity size is increasing. That means that is the criteria. If subsequently the company go for a borrowing from the market or from the bankers or financial institution, the one particular criteria which they look into is that what is the equity size of the company. If the equity size of the company is 100 crore, then the company can go for 200 crore debt. That is the 1:2 debt equity ratio we call. That is very comfortable for any company. It could be more also for some high infrastructure company, but 1:2 debt. So you have a larger equity base. That means that you are increasing the your debt raising capacity also by going for the IPO process. That first of all, earlier the questions used to come to us that whether it can be arranged immediately like bank borrowing, where the minimum time is taken, or even if you raise bond, a very minimum time we can raise the bond, but it is not so. The IPO process is all process oriented. we are going to discuss that process one by one, that you will yourself will realize that what are all the safeguards are there, and then what are the time taken to complete the process of the IPO. So fundraising is through companies issue of the equity capital, and then IPO is process oriented. It's a lot of processes are there. Then IPO enhances public image of the company. Public image of the company means that so far the company is held closely and it is going to the wider group of investors, that all the expectation, the market, that the company should do well. So that is the expectation, that we enhance the public image of the company, because the company's performance is going to be observed by a variety of investor group and media also. So IPO enables valuation of the share, because every kind of merger, acquisition in future, whatever happens, that the basic criteria is that what is the value of the equity. So equity valuation is very instantly available for all the listed companies. So one, we call it a listed company because as long as the company is held closely, it is unlisted. Once it go through the process of IPO and become a larger equity capital, then it is a listed company. So all listed companies will have to perform, because the performance are on a quarterly results have to be shown to the public and investors, and the performance is being monitored by all section of the people. So this is the advantage of going for an IPO. And before approaching a client and getting the proposal, what actually we have to look into it. One is that whether the company is eligible to go for an IPO, because the eligibility criteria depends on country to country based on the security market regulator. The regulator is there in security market. If it is in US, it is called Security Exchange Commission. If it is in India, it is Security Exchange Board of India. And similarly, various other countries, there are security market regulators. So the security market regulator will decide the eligibility criteria, which companies can go for IPO. So first of all, the company should be eligible with the increased equity size they are going to raise in the market. And secondly, based on the eligibility criteria, because in India, if a company has to go for a IPO, the company should have been existent for 3 years, and all the 3 years the company should have good profit track record. Then only the regulator will allow the company to go for an IPO process. That is the regulatory condition, that one has to, anybody who before bringing the proposal, please ensure that the company meets the eligibility norms prescribed in the country. Secondly, internally, what is the actually authorized capital size of the company? So authorized capital is one thing which is actually the limit of the company up to which they can raise the equity capital. So I given an example. Suppose, for example, that authorized capital of a company is $5 million, and so far they have issued the capital, and those capital are paid up to $3 million. That means that still the company can go for an additional equity issue up to $2 million. So this is the amount up to which they can mobilize the funds through the IPO process. The 2 million is the buffer available now. So this is the first kind of test. We have to see the company's record, that the company is eligible, first from the regulator's point of view. Secondly, from the internal balance sheet, that the company has enough buffer to go for an IPO. So these are the two things, preliminary check we have to do before taking the proposal from the client. And then many times before that, I told you why the companies go for an IPO. It is a very easy to raise the capital through the IPO process for a huge size instead of going for a borrowing, and increase the liquidity of the company stock, which may allow owners and employees to sell the stock more easily. But for an unlisted company, it is very difficult. Any holder of the shares, it is very difficult to sell the shares if they want to sell the shares to any other investor. But in the listed companies, when the IPO, after the IPO process, that your price discovery mechanism is already there in the stock exchange, and also there is a possibility to buy and sell stock on an ongoing basis. This is a facility which is available for all the listed companies. and easy stock valuation, I told, and many companies that employees retention, stock option, and other things are there. That is all based on the equity capital allotted to the employees, and create publicity, brand awareness, and prestige of the company. Many companies which have gone for an IPO, they are actually they are promoting their brand because their company is known outside by many of the investors and the media and the common people. So it is very easy for them to promote their brand in the market. And shares are listed. The last process in the IPO is that listing. So the finally the shares of the company have to be listed in stock exchange. So after that, the trading in that kind of share, that shares will take place after the listing is done. So these are the reasons why the companies go for IPO. These will facilitate the company to put their brand image in the market, and they will be very highly known in the market. So it is very different than going for a borrowing and raising a debt capital, which is very much internal to the company. Nobody knows that the company has raised a bond, and nobody knows that company has raised borrowing from a bank or financial institution. But once they go for an IPO, mean the company is coming to the market, and it is many investors and others, they know about the company and the company's performance. So home country regulations, which decides the eligibility of the company, and the second is that the consent of the company, that is board of director resolution. This is very much very required because first of all, they meet the eligibility norms prescribed by the regulator. And secondly, that internally the company has to decide, and this is the process of IPO through which they want to raise equity capital. So the board of directors of the company to pass a resolution. So these resolutions are going to be the preliminary document. These are the documents which will come to us before making a preliminary scrutiny of the IPO proposal. And also they have to mention the reason for the IPO, why they go for an IPO of a big size and mobilizing funds through the IPO market by issuing shares to the various investors. What actually the need for the money? So they have to give the reason that either they undertake new projects which need huge funding, or that some existing work need to be expanded with more capital investments, or new contracts or existing contracts are being taken for a high volume of money. So all these things are the reason they should give that why they go for the IPO process. So understanding of equity enhancement and not debt or borrowing, I told you already that because earlier such apprehensions were there that people submit the proposal and then they started asking that what is the timeline you will be able to provide the funds. That I'll tell you at the end that after telling all the processes, yourself realize that what is the normal time taken to complete the process of IPO is. I'm just telling just right now that it may be from 6 months to 9 months. So 6 months to 9 months, a company has to wait to issue the IPO in the market and mobilize the funds. That is why it takes 6 to 9 months time. I'll tell you when I tell you the process which takes place during the time, everyone will be able to understand it. The size of the IPO. So IPO size is really matter because the size depending on the size of the IPO and the cost will be worked out. I'll tell you the later that what will be the total cost when you go for an IPO issue. And the company has to select the investor group. I said that at the beginning there are variety of investor group. There are mutual fund, there are hedge fund, pension fund, institution, banks, and all the kind of institutions are there. They are willing to invest, and also there are other investors like high net worth individuals and individual investors. So all those people are the group of investors, sometimes foreign investors also. So the company has to decide whether which are the group of investors I should target, and what is the percent if I am going to raise in the market 100 crores IPO, and how what percentage I should allot to each group of investors. If mutual fund you are allotting 15% or 20%, and individual 5% or 10%. So accordingly, we have to allocate the total size of the IPO to various group of investors because at the end there may be some spillover. So we have to make a proper allocation after that. So this company will decide in the initial stages that what are the group of investors we are going to target and what are all the percentage of allotment which are targeted for various group of investors. So there are three pillars in the entire IPO process. One is the process, then the people whom we are targeting, then the compliance side. First is that the process is the regulatory related process is there, and then market related process, and then investor related process. This we will see one by one. Then we are institutions, individuals, and foreign investors. They form the group of investors, and then the compliance. Because there are two big institutions in the process of IPO. One is the regulator of the security market in the country, and there are some various compliance levels. And then lastly, when we go to the stock exchange for listing the stock, and that time there are some compliance procedures and payment of fee, application filing, and then finally the listing of the shares in the stock exchange. So this we will see one by one. And what is the role of the EEB? Initially, I told you EEB is not actually the owner of the product, but it is only facilitating. A client company is coming to us for IPO mobilization, and in the process, we will tie up with various institutions, and then we will be the intermediary facilitator to finally complete the process of the IPO. So where this IPO will process will take place? Unlike bonds, you would have heard about bonds. We have decided to raise the bond. If it is a bond, it will be raised in US market only as of now. But it is if it is IPO and equity issue, it will be issued and launched in the country of the client only. So there are several countries where IPO process is are not actually very prevalent in the country, and IPO process is very prevalent in very select group of countries. So we have selected some 20 countries where the IPO market is very good, because IPO means that the company is going to the investors, and the investors will be willing to invest in the company's equity. So where such investors are there should be informed investors where they can take a decision about the investment, and after knowing the company's profile, they should be willing. But such kind of investors we don't find in all the global destination, but in very select few countries where such investors are there, we have selected initially 20 countries where this IPO market is very good, and if any proposal comes from the 20 countries, we can immediately take up the IPO facilitation. So one is that the client who brings a proposal, unlike other kind of proposals like bonds and other things, that once you bring the proposal, once the proposal is accepted, the sales team role ends. But it is not in the case of IPO. The sales team member who brings the proposal will be hand-holding with us until completion of the entire IPO process. So here it is very important that the sales team should understand the product well, and you should be able to contact the clients and the institution, because we are going to tie up with same country where the company is located. All the merchant bankers or other intermediate institution and the stock exchange and the regulator of the capital market, all those category of institutions we are going to tie up with the help of the sales team member in the country. So it is very important that we have to handhold with us till the completion there. So IPO in the process of facilitation, what EEB will do is that we will make a pre-assessment of MSME, micro and small medium enterprises or big corporate, and all the preliminary documents what we needed. I told you that through which we will analyze that whether the company need the funding through the IPO process. And preliminary scrutiny will be there after you send all the documents. And we have made one small preliminary information report, that is IPO evaluation form, which if you are interested and approach a company to bring the proposal of IPO, then first we have to get that information through the IPO evaluation format, and subsequent and added to that the director's the resolution, and the balance sheet and the financials of the company, so that we can make a preliminary assessment that why the company needs to go for an IPO and what is the intention of the company, all those things in the preliminary verification. We study the financials and the ownership structure, and really the company has got a buffer to go for an IPO. As I told at the beginning, that they should have a buffer of equity, so that that can be issued as the IPO in the market. And institutional arrangement. Institutional arrangement is one thing that where we are going to tie up with various kind of institution um, in the home jurisdiction of the company. Also, in case of foreign investment in the overseas also. So this we will be doing as a facilitator. Then subsequently, we coordinate with all the institution. Each process take its own time. Until its completion, we will be coordinating with the institution. And the launching of the IPO by merchant banker. So what is launching? Launching means that the IPO is ready, applications are ready, the application can now be issued to the investors, so that investor can make a decision and invest in the company. So that is called launching. But whether the all the process are over, that everything is ready, the IPO can be launched, even the IPO can be launched, who can tell the right time to launch the IPO is the merchant banker, the investment banker or merchant banker, different name, different country. So he will tell us that wait, even everything is ready, he will tell the time when we can launch IPO, because we do not know in a particular month there may be some more companies coming to the market with their IPO. If that is the case, that crowding takes place. So many IPOs coming to the market, that sometimes the IPO may not get full subscription. So the merchant banker will tell that there is an optimum level, optimum number of IPOs we can tolerate. So if it is more, then we may wait for one more month. So like that, there are various reasons. Suppose suddenly there are some economic problem or political problem in the country, IPO, we cannot go for an IPO. Like war conditions or economic downsized conditions, like what we are facing in Myanmar or Bangladesh, Syria, so Ukraine, all those places, we will not definitely go for an IPO, because it is process oriented. Definitely, all the efforts will fail in the country, because the country is focusing on various other things. Not the investors are not ready to make investment. So all these are first taken into account before launching an IPO. Then monitoring. Once it is launched, there are so various other processes. We EEB will monitor all the processes, and in in association with all the intermediary institution, and then finally to get subscription and listing of the shares. These are the facilitation process. There are 6 processes which we definitely will do that. And in the process flow, EEB facilitation is that identifying prospective clients that you will do. Sales team members will do in your country who are actually interested to raise funds through the IPO, and then obtain that IPO evaluation form from them. Then internal review committee in EEB will make a decision based on various other test checks, and then if you decide to go for an IPO facilitation, there is a IPO facilitation fee we have prescribed, because for facilitating this IPO, EEB has prescribed a facilitation fee that he has to deposit. How much is the facilitation fee? I will tell you. And then we will make an agreement with the client, because it's a step-by-step process. It takes what are all the time limit involved in each step. Then we will appoint a merchant banker and have an agreement with them, and then in the client country. Then we will monitor all the activities with the help of the sales team member in the country. So once the IPO process is complete by issue of the issue of the subscription application and allotment and the refund, all those things will take place, and finally listing in the stock exchange. There is a complete process of EEB facilitation flow. Now, the merchant banker is a key person in the entire IPO process. The merchant banker is the key person who will be facilitating with EEB to smoothly issue that IPO in the market. So there are various costs involved also, and the process involved also. So pre-issue role, what the merchant bankers are going to do that? Merchant bankers, first they have to deposit the regulatory fee with the regulator, security market regulator. Then the security market regulator will call for all the documents. So all the documents we have to financials. There is one important document called prospectus. Prospectus means the prospectus tells about the companies and company's background and the company's ongoing project and the project which need funding through IPO. All this information will be clearly mentioned in the prospectus. The prospectus is a major document which takes time to prepare by the merchant banker, but that has to be filed with the security market regulator. Then once approval is obtained from the security market regulator, then appointment of intermediaries, other intermediaries, because there are so many processes involved. One is the merchant banker, secondly, the banker who will collect the subscription, then application should be printed and issued by the banker. Once applications are issued and the money is collected, then the allotment of shares according to the proportion of percentage we fixed for each category of investor, we will take allotment. So there are specialized institutions which will be taking up the allotment procedure if the subscription is more. If the IPO size is $100 million, if the subscription is $150 million, then it is called oversubscription. So oversubscribed amount, the excess money received should be refunded. Only the amount of size of the IPO money will be retained. In some cases where the IPO size is $100 million, where it may be subscribed up to $80 million. That means that the IPO is not fully subscribed. In such condition, what to do? We target $100 million, but subscription received is only $80 million. So what to do? The regulator in the country has prescribed all these conditions. They know very well that if it is so, in some countries, the entire IPO process should be cancelled. If it is a 90% subscription minimum is not received, that you cannot go for an IPO. So these are the threats in the IPO. Sometimes we have to see the investor. That is why investors are the king here. So if the investment is not made up to the size of the IPO, then what to do? That is why to avoid all the risk, initially we make an agreement with the merchant banker. That is called underwriting agreement. So the underwriting agreement is that once the shortfall in subscription is happened, suppose in the 100 million, 10 million is not subscribed, only 90 million US dollar is subscribed. The 10 million shortfall will be subscribed by the merchant banker. So that is why the entire cost of the IPO underwriting cost is little higher than other costs. So underwriting is one thing because invariably people go for underwriting because we do not know whether it will be oversubscribed or undersubscribed. Oversubscribed, okay, very easy, we can return the money of excess subscription. But undersubscription happens means that who is going to bridge the gap? So that is the underwriting. Then refund, the post-issue role, this will happen. So refund of money if it is excessively subscribed, and the post-issue monitoring reports, which are the mandatory requirements to file with the regulator. And there will be several grievances will come from investors after the allotment is completed. I have applied for these. I have not got all those grievances which are common in the IPO market, but these all will be addressed by the intermediary who is handling that allotment and refund. Then coordination with all the intermediaries we have to do as a facilitation. And when it is subscribed and the amount is received, allotment is made, and every category of investors will get the allotment letter that you applied for this many shares in the company, you have been allotted this many shares. So all the allotment letter will go to them. If they have allotted more, they ask for more and not allotted fully, then the money will be refunded. So this happens in every market in any country. This is the common procedure which happens now, except the variance in the case of regulatory conditions and the type of institution. The process almost are same in many countries. So once the money is received, the second thing is that now the company has to list their, that is a procedure for listing. One has to apply for listing. Application for listing should be filed with the stock exchange. And this is a very ceremonial process where the stock exchange accept and they call for the companies, officials, and the bankers and others involved in the IPO side. And then there's one day it is publicly announced that the company shares are listed in the stock exchange, and thereafter the company price, the share prices are revealed and displayed every day in the media and the stock exchange. So there is an ongoing mechanism. One can pick up and sell the shares or buy the shares. This will happen from the next day after the listing. So this is the entire process, and for doing the entire process, that anchor person is the merchant bank. So it may be a merchant banker or investment banker. The red herring document, that is the prospectus we prepare, and the regulatory compliances, and security market intermediary agency will make the allotment and refund, and the lead banker always collect the information into subscription, and stock exchanges are there. In some of the countries, everything will be there. Security market will be there, but stock exchange will not be there. So there are some few small countries, what actually they do is that their stocks will be listed in the neighbor country stock exchange. So these all we want to avoid initially, because a country should have full-fledged setup. All the regulators, regulator and regulatory compliances, and all the stock exchange and stock exchange compliances should take place in the country. That is why we selected where this entire mechanism is available, and if they are well established mechanism available in 20 countries. That's why we are targeting the 20 countries. So IPO investor category, after you go for an IPO, you will have more investors now in the books of the company. You have qualified institutional investors who are commercial bank investors, mutual fund investors, financial institutions, foreign investors, and non-institutions like fund, pension fund, and other things. And even some other companies might have invested. High net worth individuals, the retail category, retail investors and high net worth individuals. They both are individuals, but the high net worth individuals, they have a size of investment there's a limit. So anchor investors, they have in some country they call an anchor investor. So the company will have variety of investors with the huge investment in equity of the company. So the factor contributing for the success of the IPO, how IPO will be successful? IPO is issued by the company to the investor. In between, all the agencies are working for the successful launch of the IPO. The company should have good track record. Initially, why the regulator says that it should have earned profit for 3 years means that the company is already existing company and they are in good profit record. And appropriate time of launching IPO, this is decided by the merchant banker. And the price, at what price we can issue, because this is decided by the merchant banker in consultation of company. What should be the face value of the stock you are going to raise the market? You may be expecting $100 million IPO size, but then your face value of the shares is $1 or $10. But you can add that premium also. If the company is already doing well and they have a very good will in the market, then you can add the premium also. So these are all decided by the merchant bank and concentrate the company. That is the pricing. And roadshow will be conducted by the merchant banker, because roadshow means the merchant banker will be acting as the ambassador, and they will be promoting the company's IPO, calling for investors and meet them, or through media they talk or they issue advertisement, everything, the publicity. The publicity will reach the kind of investor. Then selection of stock exchange, because there are countries where only one stock exchange will be there. There are countries where more than one stock exchange will be there. So in such cases, that it is all our preference only. Either we can list the security in one stock exchange, or we can list in all the stock exchange also. It is all because everything involves cost. So depending on the company's need, we can decide the number of stock exchange where the security should be listed. So what is the cost totally? So I have told you all the costs which are involved in the IPO thing. Merchant banker is a key person to whom we have to pay a heavy cost, and then underwriting charges, regulatory filing fee, conducting roadshow, then bankers, we have to pay the bankers charges, and printing of application form, and if it is online, the online mode of availability, making availability the online mode. Then allotment and refund, another intermediary will do. and stock exchange related cost, filing in the stock exchange, the regulatory fee, everything. So all thing will totally, the cost of the IPO will be 4% to 7% of the size of the IPO. If it is $100 million IPO size, then 4 to 7 million, 400,000, 700,000 will be the cost of the IPO, involving all the costs, and the 4% is the lower limit and 7% maybe the higher limit, depending on the country and the cost structure in the country. For EEB's facilitation, and the minimum facilitation fee is again based on the size of the IPO. Minimum facilitation fee is at $25,000 and roughly 0.1% is the vacant, because you consider the cost which you are going to pay maximum 7% of the IPO size. The EEB facilitation fee will be only 0.1% of the IPO size with a minimum of $25,000, and it may increase depending on the size of the IPO. So these are the two costs. One is the IPO cost and secondly the facilitation cost. So again, we have told you everything brief. What is the process flow? The same process flow. There is a recap. We need a merchant banker. We need a prospectus. We need a stock exchange. We need a bank to issue the IPO and collect the subscription, and then listing. We need a stock exchange. So if this every structure is there, infrastructure is there in the country, we can definitely go for the IPO, and we will be completing the IPO from the beginning to the end, and hand-holding with the sales team person who bring the proposal to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hari Krishnan sir, for this presentation. As I said, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now we will take questions very specifically on the presentation on the IPO facilitation. So this presentation will be shared. So all of you keep that in mind. But if there are any questions that you would like to ask Mr. Hari Krishnan, if you click on the raise your hand icon, and then when I call your names, you can unmute your mic and ask your questions as well. Yeah, Hampton, you raised your hand.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so this is an extremely heavily regulated environment, right? So does EEB work through a third-party regulated entity? In the EU, we have MiFID, FCA UK, obviously SEC US. So do we work with third parties that are regulated?
Yeah, we are actually making an arrangement with the merchant bankers in the country. The merchant banker is a licensed entity in the country. The merchant banker is a regulated entity in the country. If we are tying up with the merchant banker, that merchant banker is actually fully regulated by the security market regulator. If it is in US, he is very well controlled by the Security Exchange Commission. If it is India, Security Exchange Board of India. So they all are properly licensed and properly permitted to carry out this kind of activity. We are only having a tie-up arrangement.
Yeah. Do we have any relationships already formed in the EU or UK?
We will do. UK proposal, we are yet to get a proposal. But in India, because it's a very good market, we can. We are actually starting this market here. But if any proposal comes from UK, definitely we will have an agreement with the arrangement with the merchant banker in UK.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else has any other questions for Mr. Hari Krishnan on IPO facilitation? Right. Thank you, Hari sir. As I said, this presentation will be shared. Michael Appiah.
Question.
Yeah,
Do
please
we
go ahead with your question.
deal with companies that have the intention to go public through the IPO, or while maybe within our client base we feel that certain institutions are qualified and they actually need that perhaps maybe it's an unfamiliar terrain, so they are not thinking about it. Can it be suggested to them? Thank you.
Yes, you can. If you have clients who want to go through the IPO facilitation, please get in touch with Mr. Hari and we'll go through the documents. We'll be more than happy to support. Anita Kotwal.
Can you just repeat that 500 and 300, 200 one? I didn't get that.
No, that is actually the authorized capital and the paid up capital. The company authorized capital is decided by when they are incorporated, and the company's authorities, there may be different authority in different country. The company asks for authorized capital limit up to which I can issue capital. Not necessarily that they have to issue full authorized capital limit. They can issue. I told that $5 million. $5 million is authorized capital fixed at the time of incorporation. After that, the company has issued only $3 million capital. So still, anytime they can issue $2 million. So $2 million, they can now use it for IPO. Then $2 million buffer is available.
So prior to IPO, how were they raising capital from the
Prior
public?
to prior to IPO, the company is a private company. There is no public holding of shares. Only few promoters will be holding the shares. Okay, there is no public shares. Now the company wants this $2 million they want to issue to the public, so that more public and public institution will be the shareholders of the company, and the company now become a private limited company, not a private limited company, it's a public limited company. The publicly held shares means that it's a public limited company.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Saiful bin Islam. Saiful bin Islam. Milky Olana. Milky Olana.
From Ethiopia, and I wanted to ask when we can take exam, onboarding exam.
Yes, please liaise with your next gen team. Muwamba Mungiumit. Muwamba Mungiumit.
Good afternoon, sir. I have one question about IPO. How we can work with the government in this case?
Government?
Yes.
If a government wants to raise IPO or something like, is that your question, Muwamba?
Yes. Yes, that's my question.
No, government will not go for an IPO. Their funding pattern is different. It's all private companies they go for an IPO, because equity is related to companies.
So there's no government we could never goes for IPO. It's like what Hari sir says, it's only the private companies, corporates.
Okay, I understand.
And thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
In case the government corporation, there are countries where government-owned corporations, government-owned companies, so they may go for an IPO. It is not a government pure form of government, but it is government-owned companies, government-owned corporation. They can go for an IPO.
Right. Lucas Ikuchukwu Lucas.
Okay, good morning.
Yeah,
Good
please
morning.
go
Can
to
you-
the question.
Good morning in Nigeria here. Okay, please, I want to find out. Please, can this IPO, what is the timeline of delivery for IPO? Because I've had several issues with this bond, with the bond part of it. That bond takes a longer time. I don't know how long it takes. Because my customer has a client already on me who wants the bond. But actually, what are going through the transaction, I know that what you actually need is an IPO, not a bond. Not a bond for that to take this long. You need something of within 1 million below. And it's taking a long time even for the bond, which is recording for to even come forth. What's the timeline for this for IPO? And can you send a process flow of this transaction of how the IPO works? In the process flow for it, please. the timeline and the process flow.
Yeah, Lucas. Yeah, go ahead, Hari sir.
Yeah, actually, I explained all the process involved in the IPO from the beginning to end. There are several processes involved, and that takes time. Even the preparation of the prospectus take 1 month time minimum. So, if all the process put together and also the deciding the right time to launch the IPO, that also takes time. So, it takes, I told you, 6 to 8 months time or 9 months time to complete the process of IPO. So, because it is going to be the equity capital of the company. Clear?
Right. There are no further questions. Thank you very much, Hari Krishna sir. As I said, like he had explained very clearly, step by step, the presentation will be shared to you for you to go through it again and refresh it as well. Mujidat Abdul Rahman. Mujidat Abdul Rahman.
Okay, good morning.
Please.
I think what I wanted to ask is, you said is initial IPO, initial equity. I initially wanted to ask, how long do the company operate before it can raise IPO? So, and what is the equity the company itself must have before raising an IPO? How long will it be in business before raising an IPO?
Yeah, that I told the eligibility criteria. So you have to check up with the local security market regulator and what are the conditions they prescribed for a company to go for an IPO. I said one example. In India, a company should be in existence for 3 years and the company should have earned profit for 3 years. So similarly, you check up with the regulatory norms in the country. So,
all right, thank you. And the minimum IPO that a company can raise, maximum?
Minimum actually even 1 million also you can raise, but you think of the cost for 1 million or 100 million. The cost will be the merchant banker will charge the same thing. You know, for 1 million or 2 million, the process are same. You will not compromise on the cost. So the cost will be manageable if the IPO size is a little bigger size IPO. If it is smaller size, your cost will be more for you, more for the company.
What is the cost, please? What is the cost?
4% to 7% of the IPO. If it is 100 million, it is 4% of the 100 million or the 7%, depending on the country. Okay.
It's all there in the presentation, Mujidat.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Hailu Feiza. Hailu Feiza. Hailu Feiza. Right. Thanks, Hari sir, once again.
Okay,
and as I said, this presentation will be shared to all of you after the training session is over. Right. I'm going to quickly move on to the various departments heads who are already in the call. And I'm going to start with Nitish from the marketing team. Nitish is there. Anybody has any questions for Nitish from the marketing team, your leads? If you could click on the raise your hand icon. And before you do that, I would always encourage you to go to the resources tab and see there are a lot of questions, there are a lot of answers in the resources tab in the bottom of the screen as well. Any questions for Nitish from the marketing team? Anybody has any questions? If you could click on the raise your hand icon in the bottom of your screen. Mujidat, again, you raised your hand. Mujidat. What more?
Good morning once again.
Yeah, please go ahead with the question.
Yes, yeah. I don't know. The lead, some of them are not, like I've written to one, is returned that the address is not wrong, is not okay. The second I've reached out to is not so going through. So, however, I've been working on my own contact within the country to get them on board. But I think with what I've gotten on the lead, I'm a bit not encouraged to even send for a lead because most information are not really, if you want to write, there's no directory, there's no proper. So I guess we should do a proper thing in terms of the name, the company, the who to address the email to, and the
Sure,
rest of them.
sure. Yeah, go ahead, Nitish.
Mudita, see, most of the leads which we are sharing with, or we all generating through online campaigns. Okay, so people that the clients have been doing inquiry with us, the data we are receiving, which we are sharing to our sales team member. Okay, sometimes it may be incorrect. If you feel incorrect, please write back to us. We able to do an alternate search and we can share it or the proper contact details back to you.
Koime Stefane Endri. Koime Stefane Endri. All right. Anybody has any other questions for Nitish from the marketing team? Yalgo Dasis. Yalgo
Good
Dasis.
morning.
Good
How
morning.
to update the lead sheet? How to update my lead sheet, please?
Sorry?
How to
So,
update my lead sheet?
sir, that is simple actually. If you see that a sheet that if you go to the right side of that one, there will be a column called follow-ups 1, 2, 3, and 4. There will be a drop downs will be there. So once you have contact the customer, so whatever the feedback you want to give about the customer, you can update it in that follow-up column.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
What more? What more? What more? Nyamkon Diva.
Hi, good day, everyone. So I've got a client that says on our website we can actually check in terms of the sales clients that were listed on. So they said they check my name and they couldn't see it on our website. I think they said there's a section where we search for registered sales team members for Euro EXIM Bank. Is it something that the marketing team can make sure that all the sales representatives
Please
are
write
there?
your full name, your empanelment number, your email ID, your WhatsApp mobile number, which is active. Please write to the help desk. Help desk will channelize it to the right team, and they will ensure that it is uploaded in under the sales team members. Emilio Porras. Emilio Porras.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Please go ahead with your question, sir.
Yeah. My question is more general. It's about how we will get the potential customers, because I am from Spain, and this is my question, how we can find the potential. You provide, the company
Yes.
provide.
Yes, it is two ways. One, you can have your own contacts. You can reach out to the importers, traders, contractors, and exporters in your country and reach out to them and sell the products of EXIM Bank. Number two, we have the marketing team. Nitish, my colleague, is here in the call. Go to the Simplex system, and in the Simplex system, request for leads. The marketing team will do a campaign in various platforms, and they will generate the leads and share it to you for you to reach out to the clients.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Gerard Baingana. Gerard Baingana.
Okay, good day to all. I have question.
Yeah, please
So,
go ahead.
why when you go to read, sometimes when you ask for one country, they can change and then they give you another country what you didn't ask?
Gerard, see, normally when we are running a campaign, sometimes we will be out of some countries' leads actually. So that's why there is a chance we will be sharing which is the nearest country which we have been requesting. If you feel that you don't want to receive, please let us know. We will stop providing those leads, and sure, we will ensure that we will provide the lead what you have been requested.
Sunday Ajine. Sunday Ajine. Please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining from. My name is Sunday Ajine. I'm joining in from Nigeria. I have a quick question. I'm quite new on the space, and I don't know if I have like a database or maybe please so can take refresher courses about the product that we are marketing. Because I need good knowledge about it in order to be able to do my job perfectly well. Thank you.
You're talking about
look at most times I just go out making these things and you know make sense.
Yes, Sunday, could you please mute your mic? Yeah, so if you want to know more about what are the products and processes, that's what I understand from your question, please do attend the Wednesday training sessions and you can access the OneDrive. All the products and process trainings are all there. What is a letter of credit? What is a bank guarantee? How does the compliance team work? How does the marketing team work? So please go to these OneDrive links and Wednesdays and Saturday training sessions. You can download it and you can learn from that Sunday. Right. Sesu Git Yauger. Sesu Git Yauger. Could you please unmute your mic and ask your question, please?
Sure. Right, thank you, sir. So my question is, there are some other international banks that operate at the international level, just like EXIM Bank. So my question is, what is the competitive advantage EXIM Bank has to attract new customers in their financial institution? Thank you.
Very clearly, it was told to you in the onboarding training session. What is it that EXIM Bank is doing different compared to the public sector bank and the private sector bank? Number one, we don't take securitization by blocking the capital of the applicant. We don't take hard collaterals. We don't take margin money. We don't take corporate guarantee. It was there in the new joiners onboarding training session, and I'm sure you attended the training session. These are the 4 or 5 different things that we have totally different compared to the private sector bank and the public sector bank that EXIM Bank does. Right. There's no questions for Nitish. Thank you, Nitish, for your time.
Thank you.
Right. Let me move on to Anand from the compliance team. Anybody has hi Anand. Anybody has any questions to Anand from the compliance team? If you could click on the raise your hand icon. As I said earlier, there are a lot of questions on compliance also in the resources tab. So if you go into the resources tab, there's a lot of questions and a lot of answers as well. Any questions from for Anand from the compliance team? If you could click on the raise your hand icon at the bottom of your screen, we will take questions in a orderly fashion, please. Right, there seems to be no question. Yeah, Suwandi Edward, you have a question for Anand from the compliance team. Suwandi Edward, please unmute your mic and ask your question, please.
Hello?
Hello. Yes, please. Go ahead with your question, Suwandi.
I haven't got my email, sir. When will you send me an email for...
Please write to the help desk team. Please write to the help desk team and they will look into it, Suwandi.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Right, no questions for Anand from the compliance team. I have Anand. Thanks, Anand. Thank you very much. I have Anand from the IT team. Anybody has any questions for Anand from the IT team? If you could click on the raise your hand icon. Yeah, Mujidat, you raised your hand again.
Mm, Good afternoon from,
Yeah,
good morning
please,
from
can you?
Nigeria.
Yeah,
Yeah, good morning. Please, I don't know, this keep occurring. I can't access my email since yesterday, and this is keep occurring. I don't know. I'm just not comfortable with this at all. I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not.
yeah.
Please.
Please write your full name, your empanelment
I've
number.
done that. I've done that. I've
Send
sent
it
to
to
them,
the
and
help
it
desk
keep
team.
reoccurring. Yeah, keep occurring. I've
Sorry?
experienced this the third time I've experienced this. It keep occurring. I don't know.
No.
Most especially, I have an important message from a customer to reply. I have to check some response. I won't access it.
No, okay. Anand, yeah, go ahead.
See that as Mr. Ben said, you please write to help desk and you would have got a ticket. So if you can put the ticket ID in the chat, let me quickly review and get back to you. If you can help me with the chat ticket number in the chat, what I will do is I will immediately check on the ticketing system and then I will revert back to you to your email ID. Both to your alternate email ID as well as your official email ID so that you are kept with the information.
I didn't get it, please. I didn't. It's not clear.
Yeah, please share.
I've using my personal mail, my Gmail to write this morning again.
Mujidat, when you send a mail to the help desk, which you have said you have already sent it, there will be a ticket which is raised. Please share the ticket number in the chat right now. Anand from the IT team will immediately look into it and his team will reply to you immediately. Apiterodior. Sorry, apologize if I get your pronunciation wrong.
Yeah, Peter Audio.
Yeah, Peter, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Please go ahead with your question, sir.
Yeah, I have submitted my consultancy agreement, and they sent me one mail. I want to know exactly how do I complete the documentation to use the email.
So if you have submitted signed the consultancy agreement using the DigiSigner, from the time
yes,
I
have signed the consultancy agreement and I submitted.
That's what I'm saying. So once you submitted within 72 hours to the email ID with which you are coordinating, all the relevant details will be shared. Okay. So if you had got your welcome letter, please share your empanelment ID which is generated. You can check with the system immediately and come back to you when you signed and what is the status of your email creation and simplex creation.
Okay. Thank you. Distinto Arnaldo. Right. Yeah, please unmute your mic. When I call out your names, you need to unmute your mic and ask your question, please.
Yes, Ben, can you hear me?
Please go ahead.
Good morning. So,
yeah,
my question is the same as my colleague. So, since I can say 3 months now, I sent the last request, I think last month, just requesting for the password to be reset. I noticed that there is some delay on replying the email. So I want to know from the team if they can reply also to my email, because I still cannot access my inbox.
Sir, as repeatedly Mr. Benzar is saying, I would now request you to please write from your alternate email ID to help desk, clearly mentioning your empanelment ID. We will have to check the system and then we will definitely get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. Again, one more request from the IT team for all the salespeople, which Anand has been reiterating. Please do not send bulk emails to your contacts and to your customers. We are not saying you cannot send, you can send, but please take the help from the IT team when you want to send at least 15, 20 emails at one shot. We are happy to support you, but sometimes what happens, it goes and then it disturbs the entire system. So when you plan to send 15 or 20 emails at one time as a bulk email, please get in touch with the IT team. IT team will be more than happy to help you to ensure that the emails will get delivered to the recipients that you plan to send it to. So that is, I would like to reiterate that as well.
Thank you.
Again, I'm saying it's not that we don't want you to send. We want you to send, but please take help from the IT team.
So Ben, I just wanted to add one point.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
See, basically what is now happening is because of the GDPR or another thing, it's becoming so stringent that if you do bulk emailing, okay, our whole domain gets blocked. So what happens is we have more than 10,000 active sales members in our team. So it's a huge amount of size. So what happens is it blocks the entire thing and it creates a bad reputation. That's why we are humbly requesting to each and every sales member not to use bulk emailing. They can address it to few clients in like 5 clients or 3 clients. That is easier. But what happens is when you send bulk emails, the domain itself is getting blocked and we are having a lot of pains to remove the blacklisting. So I humbly requesting all the sales members to please note down and maintain their email etiquettes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, I request all of you to please follow those norms. Right, I've got 2 more minutes to close. I'm going to ask any of you have any questions on the payment gateway. My colleague Sridhar is there on the call. Anybody has any questions on payment gateway or foreign exchange control that you in your country that your client is not able to pay? And any questions, if you could click on the raise your hand icon. My colleague Sridhar is there on the call. Right, there are no questions. Anything, Sridhar, from your end? Any new country? Okay, Prosper Oga. Prosper Oga. Please unmute your mic when I call your names, please. Prosper Oga.
Hello, can you hear me?
Please go ahead with your question.
All right. Thank you very much. Concerning the remittance product, I want to find out if the EXIM wire works just like the way of Western Union or RIA or what did we have, MoneyGram, where you can send money from Nigeria, you can send to any part of the world, or they can send from there to Nigeria, like the gateway platform. Does it work that way?
You are from which part of which country?
Nigeria.
Nigeria, we have a facility to collect Naira. Through online payment link, we can provide even a QR code we can provide. We have even a NACH facility also. So what I mean to say that we have multiple payment methods. Whatever the payments that you are supposed to do for the services available from your EXIM bank, you can do it. You can just drop an email with the detailed information. We'll generate a payment link and share with you. Hope I have answered your query, Prosper.
Memel Jean Paul. Memel Jean Paul. Could you please unmute your mic and ask your question? Memel Jean Paul. Yeah, please go ahead with your question. Yeah, please go ahead.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
My question is simple. In my country, I have some client who is interested for SBLC, but they have the lands and all the documents like guarantee. They have the land, they don't have the cash to pay the issuance fee. What I can give them Question.
What is the currency that client wanted to make the payment? Hello, Memul. Are you able to hear me? I just wanted to know what is the currency using which client wanted to make the payment.
SBLC.
No, not SBLC. I'm asking the currency. What is the local currency?
Local
Which
guarantee
country?
is land. Is land.
Oh, I didn't get you. Please, you can try. You can reach out to me through WhatsApp, so that or through my email.
Local guarantee they give is the land.
Yeah, I understood. I understood that we can provide a low guarantee. I mean, whatever the SBLs or anything which you want in local currency, we can provide. But to make the payment of service fees or anything, what is the currency in which client wanted to make the payment? Did you get it?
Oh, I cannot hear you.
You can't hear me.
He is saying that the client doesn't have the money to pay issuance charges. He's asking how can EXIM Bank help? Jean, very clear. The client must pay KYC charges first. After completion of KYC process, he must pay the issuance charges, and only then EXIM Bank will relay and advise our instrument SBLC or a bank guarantee to the beneficiary and to the beneficiary bank. But if the client has a challenge because he has only local currency and he wants it in USD, reach out to my colleague Sridhar. His WhatsApp number, his mobile email ID, everything is being shared, and we can help your client on that. Right. Anything else from your end, Sridhar?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
just would like to share a couple of updates. We have been adding more and more African countries, not only African countries, for that matter, we are trying to cover more than 240 countries with the different payment methods. We are working on it, and the latest development is we could able to even provide QR code payment as a payment method, and as well as a SWIFT account to account transfer payment as is one of the payment method which we can provide to the client. Depends on the country. This is the development which I would like to share with, and we have been working for more and more countries to add with the local currency going forward. We will keep posted to you as and when the things are good to go. Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you. Thank you, Sridhar. There you go. The payment gateway team is working to ensure that wherever there are currency conversion problems, they are there to support our clients. Right. With this, I bring our Wednesday product and process training session to a close. The trainings which has happened today, the import-export data for the country, Guam, and the IPO facilitation training presentations will be shared to all of you. Please go through it and reach out to the correct persons if you always want to have any questions. As I always say, please reach out to your first point of contact, your manager, your supervisor, whose name, his email ID, his WhatsApp number is shared in your welcome letter, and they will be the ones who will assist you as well. With this, I bring our Wednesday training session to a close, and I look forward to seeing all of you again on Saturdays. Be cognizant of the time. Saturday training session starts at 2 p.m. India Standard Time. It goes on till 4 p.m. for 2 hours. So, and I look forward to welcoming all of you for the Saturday training session. Whichever country that you logged in from, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you very much for joining our Wednesday product training session. I would request all of you to please log out of the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good share for today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you from Burkina. Thank you very much, Musa Ouedraogo. Thank you.
From Coach,